All right, welcome back into the Newport This Week video podcast series. I'm Bill Bartholomew. Each and every week, we take a look at issues, events, and much more that is happening on Aquidneck Island. And we've been focusing the last couple of weeks on an upcoming event, the Broadway Street Fair, that is coming up. Man, we are rapidly approaching October. And with that comes the Broadway Street Fair on October 14th. It's an amazing event. A lot to talk about. And one really cool aspect of this is the chalk art piece. And Charles Herndon is coordinating that and joins us this morning here on the podcast. Good morning, Charles.
Hi, good morning. Thanks, Bill, for inviting me.
Yeah, my pleasure. So we have some images to share. I think let's set the table first before we do that so that people can kind of get a window into what happens. So it's sidewalk chalk, it's community engagement, it's art. It's special. Talk about the project.
Well, we started 3 or 4 years ago with the street fair. Lynn at Newport This Week asked me to coordinate it, and we just set it up so that people that are just enjoying the street fair can walk by and join in, and we have a community area, and we also ask people if they want to do something a little more, involved, that they sign up ahead of time, and we have areas set out for them specifically. It's something to keep us occupied when we're tired of walking, I guess.
Yeah, and well said. And it's a variety of levels. I mean, you don't have to be Pablo Picasso to participate. Talk about that and sort of the different types of people that get involved.
Oh, sure. We run the gamut. We have children that want to do it, and some of them sign up ahead of time, and some of them just walk up and start doing it. And we also have, all the way through people that are a little older, like myself. And also as far as ability level, we have people that have never, the only time they've used chalk is on the board at school. And I guess they don't even do that anymore, right?
Right. We're in the era of the smart board now.
Right. And, and we have we have artists that sign up that actually come and use this. Chalk might not be their medium, but they enjoy doing it and they like trying it out. And we give them big palettes, 8 by 10 feet on the street. And we also have smaller palettes for people as well.
It speaks to a larger element of the Broadway Street Fair, which is so amazing, which is the transformation of space into, for lack of a better term, canvas for the community from an artistic standpoint, from a business standpoint, from even just you could argue, just a municipal infrastructure standpoint. All of a sudden, the Broadway writ large space becomes this living, breathing work of art. And with the chalk art, it's not permanent, but it's there for a minute. The impression is there, and you can certainly enjoy it for moments after the initial drawing. So I want to show some images here because they're really fun and beautiful. Let's pull them up here. These are a couple of different examples. So I love this one because you can see that. I don't know if that's a puma or what's going on here. It looks maybe some kind of leopard and an elephant. You probably aren't going to find those out in Ballard Park, but they are really cool to see on Broadway.
And yes, and you can see that, they're actually doing it right there. And this is an example of one of the sections that we give to people that sign up ahead of time. And then behind them, you can see the sidewalk. That would be part of the section for the community, just to come in and do their thing. And also, just before we do provide chalk. So it doesn't cost a thing to come and participate. And we actually provide chalk for both the artists and people who sign up ahead of time, as well as the folks that are just walking by and want to participate.
Yeah, I love this one right here, the cow. It's speaks to me as a vegan to see a friend there like that. I'm sure people might see it and go into a restaurant. This one is really cool because it actually it encompasses a lot about what makes Newport great, sort of unintentionally perhaps. And again, you see that community engagement piece, and I love that there's someone who's photographing it in the background. I love that as well, because it's almost like, especially in the age of the smartphone, you can take a piece of the Broadway Street Fair with you. You could make that your
Right.
desktop image or whatever you'd like, and it's just this semi-permanent moment in time that is captured. So really great stuff there. I love the project. So what's your background and experience? How did you get involved in all this?
Um, well, my son and my daughter-in-law are, I guess you would call them semi-professional. They have other jobs, but they also are invited to a lot of places to do chalk art.
Mm.
They've been to Europe several times. My daughter-in-law, actually, son and daughter-in-law, just got back from a couple of trips to Europe. They're invited, and they go participate in festivals, street fairs in Europe, as well as all over the country. So they've kind of, I guess, I always thought I was a little artistic, so they keep prodding me along, and so I like to do it a little bit. But I what I really like, and I love chalk. What I really like is to get other people involved in it,
Mm.
and the kids are the best. When you got them, that's so much fun. So
Yeah, I would completely agree. The Broadway Street Fair, it's coming up on Saturday, October 14th, and there's so many different activities, so many different performances, opportunities. It's a wonderful event, and I love that there's a connection here to with the chalk, because a lot of people probably think of it as like a playground activity or something like that, or maybe you got a paved driveway. There's actually a really robust tradition around this. You mentioned Europe, and this is something that connects Newport and connects Broadway and the Broadway Street Fair to a bigger conversation around temporary public art and expression that happens in a lot of great places around the globe.
mm-hmm. That's true.
What do you think is, when you think about the Broadway Street Fair and the event itself, and obviously you have this very specific important role in it, but what's the big takeaway from the street fair? Because you can look at it and say, boy, that was a great day, but you can also look at it and use it as a way to sort of say, hey, this is the best of our community, and how can we encapsulate this on a more regular basis? Not to say that we're going to block off traffic and do sidewalk chalk art on a regular basis, but what's the takeaway for you in terms of how it informs where we want to go as a community?
Oh, I just think it's one of the things that brings the community together. I mean, we ask people to join in, and they do, and we're all part of something. Whether it's almost like a tic-tac-toe board or whatever, but it brings the community together. And I know this year they've added something next to us inside the park, which is the Paint in the Park. And I know I don't know if they've spoken about it a lot, but it's an outdoor gallery, and they're having people come in, and you get a canvas and all that to paint. Not only so the paint's going to be there, the chalk's going to be there, and it's just a great day.
It's a great day, and it showcases the professional, semi-professional, and amateur artistic desires
Right.
of our community, and that's something that we could use a lot more of. Every community benefits from art, from public art, whether it's professional murals or something like this. Last question here. When you look back over the years, what are some of the big memories that you have from doing this? I know you said you were in exile offline last year, jokingly, but we'll talk about that.
1 year off for bad behavior, I guess. No, but I for me personally, the first year was great because it was all new, and we got it all set up, and people really enjoyed it. We had a lot of people, a lot more people participate than we thought we were going to have. We do have, even if you're just walking by and you don't have time, we have what we call a chalk tower. So there's a chalkboard on a tower that people can just walk by and draw a little doodle or whatever. But I think that's one of the things I loved. And then personally for me, my son came the second year, and I don't know if it's in Newport this week, but he did a 3D shark, and it's amazing. So I enjoyed having my son here with me. But
yeah, I love that you get to share that connection, because it's really special. I mean, it's not as common as you would think, that's for sure. So the Broadway Street Fair, it's coming up on October 14th. That's a Saturday, and I'll also flag that artists are invited to create an outdoor gallery alongside that sidewalk chalk art activity that you mentioned. You mentioned this outdoor gallery, and the call to action there is just to set up an easel, bring a stool or chair, and create a new piece of art, and have the opportunity to sell previously created pieces of work, and with an ideal limit of 6 pre-made works per artist, and no tables allowed, $25 suggested donation. But the sidewalk chalk component is free,
right.
and it's a signature element of a signature event, the Broadway Street Fair. Charles Herndon, thanks so much for your time this morning.
Yeah, just real quick, I'd like to
Please.
say, if you are interested in signing up ahead of time and guaranteeing a nice spot, please go to the website and or send an email to
Broadway Street Fair.
Broadway Street Fair. MPT. I'm being helped here. Broadway Street Fair. MPT.com. NTP.
Broadway Street Fair, NPT.com. And it is coming up on Saturday, October 14th. We'll have much more coverage of this here in Newport this week, over the coming weeks, obviously in the paper, and even perhaps here on the podcast. Hey, Charles, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, if we could just quickly do a